What is up, everyone? I'm Phritzy, and this is me talking to myself. Okay, so what the heck is me talking to myself? Well, if you've seen the videos, you know. No, I'm just joking. Talking to myself is the vlog-ish version of me writing in a journal. But it's not really a vlog in the sense of... I guess the idea is... when you write in a journal, you're not thinking too much about your structure or how you're presenting because you're just writing for yourself. It's personal. Hopefully nobody reads it. That's usually the idea of journaling. It's just like these scramble of emotions. That's my intention with this. So a lot of vlogs, they're much more highly presented. And if you look at some of my videos, they are maybe a bit more like that. But I'm actively attempting to get away from that. Partly because I want to be as vulnerable as possible to the audience. It's part of just me working on my own artistic sense, I guess, and not getting in my head, not being freaked out about what people think of me and all those kind of things. So it's trying to be as open as possible. And I find it actually helps a lot. And then I kind of just speak off the cuff. I have no idea usually what I'm going to talk about. Sometimes I have a general idea. I might have something on my mind. That's kind of what it is. Anyway, so it's been, I think, about a month since I've made one of these videos. And like, what the heck, why not? It's kind of hard to make these videos as of late because if you've watched any of my previous videos, or I have a 1-year-old. Boy, that kid is I love the kid. Great eater, terrible sleeper. So he doesn't go to sleep very early, so I don't have much free time. So like as an example, I'm recording this at 12:30 at night. But you know what? Why not? So here we are. I guess kind of what's on my mind is kind of a bit of the introduction. I've a lot of, I guess, sort of the initial kind of move into trying to do this was I felt a little bit uncomfortable talking to a camera because you're literally talking to yourself. This camera, even though you see me and might feel like I'm talking to you, you're not talking back to me. It's just an inanimate object, which is my phone at the moment as my camera. So the original reason was just to get comfortable with that. And, because I pursue acting and I wanted to pursue other YouTube endeavors or other things, it's just like, may as well get better at that. And then as I continued, it was more about like, how can I express myself a little bit more? How can I have more confidence? How can I not self-sabotage, get in my own way? And as I've kind of progressed, it's been more about just like, get more open, get out of your head. And I'm like, I don't know. That's such a weird concept. Like, get out of your head. I'm like, my brain's in my head. What do you, but I think that's what it means, or it's kind of an artistic statement in the acting world that get out of your head is often used. You probably would not hear that statement in an accounting firm or something because it's, using logic and math. But this being more emotionally based, it's like to stop thinking about how people perceive you or how you're showing yourself. Stop thinking about a persona you have of yourself and just be yourself. It's a weird kind of practice, but I think it works for me. Anyway, I had some interesting validation, which I didn't take as validation at first. I think I'll explain it, but I feel like I'm on the right track. Anyway, my last video, I did something a bit different, where something else on the side. I just work on some of my acting stuff. And I recently read a book that was just talking about doing the scene. You know, you have your own imaginary circumstance of the scene, but doing it exactly where you are right now. Not like physically, I mean, yes, but your sort of emotional state. And so I was particularly anxious for a number of reasons that had nothing to do with the acting stuff. But I was like, you know what? Normally, I would say to myself, I don't want to do this, because I kind of had a set time, which was when my son took a nap. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do this because I feel really anxious. And I'm like, no, I'm going to try it just to see what happens. And I like the results. I keep playing around with that. So I did that. And then because I was recording and my son was asleep, I was like, well, I'm going to do this thing right after. And then I presented it in reverse. But I kind of liked it. It was a bit different. Anyway, I do get in my own head, and I do actively self-sabotage, even though I'm not always quite aware. But I posted the video, I think at like 12:31 at night, in hopes that nobody would see it. But, like I knew I needed to post it. And some people saw it or something. I didn't really look. Anyway, at some point I got a comment from somebody I had no idea, and they were really mean comments. I don't know the name of the CEO of Amazon, but this person had their name as that person, and the comment was, "I would sell my Amazon shares for you to stop, and sell my Amazon shares and give them to you for you to stop talking." Which is actually, it's a pretty funny comment. But when I first read it, it was like, oh, it broke my heart. And then there was some other one that was not as clever, but it was okay. It was like, bruh, you want drugs, which was, so I got 2 negative comments. But I guess I kind of want to talk a little bit about that, because it was this immediate feeling of, I need to take this video off. I'm embarrassed. I feel like shamed. I don't want to do this anymore. I need to quit. Maybe I would actually consider quitting if that person was the CEO of Amazon and he gave me his shares. I would at least pretend to. Unless there was like a contract where like he gave me all his shares and I couldn't speak again, I guess I would take it, because I don't want to breach a contract. Anyway, dumb ramble. So how did I get over it? Well, I mean, like, luckily for me, I have a really kind of grounded wife. And we're actually really good about this kind of thing, where if I'm feeling down, she's there to like kind of be that pillar for me, and vice versa for me for her. And so I just I felt a bit sad, and I told her, and then kind of worked through it, and it was like interesting that I didn't even know who these people were, and I let it affect me. But it was like this is part of my intention. Part of me doing this, strangely enough, is to show the ugly side of me. When I mean ugly, I mean like the unrefined version of me, the non-persona, the non-clean, presenti, la 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 la, whatever you see. They just kind of raw, and not care about how much somebody likes or dislikes. So if I have a video that I've uploaded and it's 100% dislike, that I should not be fazed. That's the goal. Kind of like forcing yourself to stand in cold water for a prolonged amount of time over and over and build up tolerance or something. And I want to, it's like me wanting to like I do have this intention wanting to be more and more vulnerable as I continue on, but it's also like building up this resistance and this almost immunity to negative thoughts or positive thoughts, actually, because I don't want to be motivated from positive feedback. If all of a sudden this video like got a whole bunch of likes and a whole bunch of comments and everybody loved it, that might actually be a bad thing at the moment, because I don't believe I'm quite there yet where I would be able to detach myself from the sort of the validation, affirmation, like needing it and needing that to propel me forward. I should just be able to propel myself forward without any of that, regardless. So I almost think this is kind of a good spot to conclude, because that this is sort of my point. It's interesting. I come to a lot of conclusions when I do these videos, which is why I do it. It's again the same reason why people journal. I'm kind of coming to this conclusion right now, but I want my goal, of course, is to be acting and to go as far as I can with that, but what I'm terrified of is, what if I actually get successful? Will I allow the success, and maybe I don't become successful with that. Maybe I become successful somewhere else. But if I become successful somewhere, will I allow that success to be my form of validation and my only reason for doing it? I don't want that, because, storms hit, winter comes, bad days happen, and I don't want to just crumble when no one's looking at me. I want to be a pillar in of itself. Yeah, I think that's a good spot to conclude on. Thanks everybody for listening. That was cool. That was fun. That was a good one. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night or whatever, and take care of yourselves. Peace.